right. Hey guys, I wanted to come on and I wanted to talk a little bit about why I am not on the I don't wear sunscreen bandwagon. Okay. So there's a lot of people out there, especially those in the natural community, like those that really are promoting, more natural lifestyles and people talking about how important the sun is for us and how it's so crucial for our circadian rhythm and our health. And they're not wrong, okay? They're absolutely not wrong about that. But this is why I wear sunscreen, okay? And protect myself from excessive sun exposure. Now, you guys know that my history with my skin is pretty gnarly. I was a chronic sun worshiper and I sunbathed for years. I have been sunbathing since I was probably in like 7th grade. And I used to sunbathe as often as I could for years, literally for years. My sister and I would come home from school. It was like April and the sun would be out and we would be out with our tinfoil and baby oil. That was us. That was our generation. We are the ones that made skin cancer a thing. Okay, it's like our generation definitely went full tilt, okay, with the whole sunbathing thing. So I have accumulated an awful lot of sun damage over those years. So I'm not going back. I'm not going back there, okay? And I'm not going to continue to add insult to skin that has already gone through more than it ever should have in probably 30 lifetimes, maybe more than that. I don't know. I'm just saying. But it was an enormous amount of sun exposure. And then I ended up damaging my skin with some glycolic acids back in the 90s. And for those of you that are my age, remember it was the wild, wild west back then. And glycolic acids were coming onto the scene. I was always involved in natural skincare, so I wasn't in that world. I had worked for like Emery Borland and, but I wasn't in that aesthetic world because it didn't fit me. And I recognized that early on that it didn't fit me. So I went in another direction. But I did get curious about the glycolic acids. And of course, they were making promises like if you've had a lot of sun damage and da 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 and all of that. So I did go into a spa and I was working meaning using the products under the supervision of an esthetician. And it burnt the shit out of my skin. It gave me 2nd-degree chemical burns on my face. And it was really bad. And it was worse than any burn I ever had. It was worse than any sunburn I ever had. At least with the sunburns, they would get better. This scarred and damaged my skin in a way that freaked me the fuck out. Like it was freaky. Like I literally had lizard skin that was tough and leathery and thick, and it was red and inflamed, and I looked like a clown. I literally looked like a clown. And that lasted for a long time. And finally, I took control of the situation and I started treating it with natural remedies like I had learned to do. I just thought that it would go away. I just thought, oh, my skincare's good. I'm taking care of my skin. It'll just go away. I happened to be a vegan at the time too, which I don't recommend. My skin was not getting enough retinol. My skin wasn't getting enough animal nutrients. It wasn't getting enough cholesterol. It wasn't getting enough things that it really needed to repair. But I did end up treating it and it did start to get better. So eventually it got better. And if you look under like a magnifying glass, you can still see some weird texture, but the skin itself is like, it feels normal and it acts normal and it's actually doing really, really well. And this was many, many, many years ago. Okay, many years ago. And then about, I don't know, maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, somewhere in that window, I ended up getting really bad frostbite on my face. Talk about a triple whammy. So I ended up getting nasty frostbite It was so bad that I actually thought I might have to have surgery on my nose. Like, when I tell you my nose swelled up like a softball, my face was so swollen. It was horrible. I cried. I actually cried. I freaked out. It was horrifying. And the feelings that you get and the pain when it starts to, like, when the blood starts to come back in, and it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. But I got through that. I got through that, and I ended up doing everything that I knew to do, and it got significantly better. But even though it got significantly better, for years I was still having problems with my nose. It would get really red, it would get really hot, it would swell, and it would typically happen like later in the day. As that late day set in, my nose would start to get hot and swell, and it was kind of a joke. I didn't want to go anywhere because I had to be home by like 5 or 6 o'clock because my nose would start to swell. And then I started to get really serious, and I started treating it with zinc oxide every single day, and it started to get significantly better. So it's actually doing really, really well right now. But what I've noticed is recently my skin has been not loving plant oils. And I've tried a whole bunch of different ones. You guys know I've been making skincare my whole adult life. And my skin is not loving the plant oils anymore. So I am using only animal fats now and no plant oils. And because I only use mineral sunscreens, I will not use chemical sunscreens. They end up in your body. They end up in your bloodstream. They are showing up in babies' blood, in babies' cord blood, and in their tissues. And there's absolutely no safety research on these. And they're just man-made synthetic chemicals. Look at history. Look at the legacy. I'm not interested in that at all. So if it's something I can't eat, I don't want it getting absorbed into my body, into my bloodstream. That's just me, okay? So I'm not putting anything on my skin that is getting absorbed into my body that isn't safe to eat. That's just the way I see it, okay? So this is what I'm relying on now, because there is a sunscreen that I found that has tallow in it, but it also has other plant oils, and I am avoiding plant oils right now. So it's loose mineral powders for me. Now, because I relied on these for so many years, because again, I just wasn't able to wear sunscreens. They just were not agreeing with my skin. So I relied on powders. And now I'm kind of back to it, because for a while I was using the Badger sunscreen. I was using a couple of other ones, but my skin is just not loving them now. So I'm back to the powders, and I wanted to share my two favorites. Okay, I've got a really high-end one, and I've got a really inexpensive one. And I want to share with you why I love them. Okay, you guys know I'm not here to promote products. I'm not an influencer. I'm just here to share with you what I love. These have been tried and true under extreme circumstances. And I am going to say that this cheaper one that is not even marketed as an SPF is hands down my all-time favorite as far as how well it works. It works so incredibly well. I really can't praise it enough. I have tried this in extreme conditions where I know I would have been burned to a crisp, and my skin doesn't even so much as have a little bit of pinkness to it. Okay, so this stuff works amazing, and this stuff works really good too. And I've tried it and I've tested it, and it works phenomenally well. But I am going to say this is definitely, it's like on crack. Okay, there is a total of 50% of sunscreen ingredients in here. There's 25% zinc oxide, 25% titanium dioxide. This is a powerhouse. It's a powerhouse, okay? This has a really good amount of zinc and a decent amount of titanium dioxide, but it's not as high as this. And I can tell you this is, if I was stranded on a desert island with no trees, this is what I'm putting on my face every day. That's just what I'm doing, okay? But I do love this, okay? Really, really love this. This is the Labella Donna, and it's so expensive that it's even hard for me to recommend it because it's bougie expensive, all right? You get 10 grams, and I buy it in the loose mineral foundation jar. I don't buy it in the sunscreen container, okay? I don't buy those. They are overpriced. They're really expensive, even more than this, and you get less product. So I think you get less product anyway. Anyway, not happening, okay? Oops. So I buy it in the jars, and they do have sales. So they have 30% off, 40% off, and on Black Friday, at least the last 2 years, they've had 50% off on Black Friday, which is phenomenal because then you're getting it for like $33 instead of $66. So that's a really good deal. And if you love the product, you just stock up, okay? But unfortunately, that 50% off sale only comes around once a year. And I've noticed a lot of companies that used to have sales more often just don't have the sales as often now. So it's harder to get the products cheap, but I do love it. And that's actually what I have on today. So I brought the two of them just to show you. So I have on today the Marta mixed with the peach. It's PECHE or something like that, but it's peach. Okay. So it's the Marta with the peach. And I think I probably could have gotten away with just the peach. I'm not really sure, but I did mix it with a little bit of the Marta. And honestly, I absolutely love it. It is a really, really beautiful formula. It's gorgeous. It just blends into my skin beautifully. It doesn't collect in any of my fine lines. It's just lovely. And I do love, did I not bring the brush? I have my Labella Donna brush. It's the one that looks like a candle flame. So it's not the one that has like the round head and the long stick. It's got a short stick and a candle flame brush head. And I absolutely love that brush. I just love it. And again, very, very expensive. I've only bought it when it's been 50% off. But have that on today because I've already been out for a walk and I'm going to be going out for another little walk. So I do have that on. I'm going to have to put a rash guard shirt on because I can't wear sunscreen on this part of my body. I've tried everything and it just doesn't work. I've tried the mineral powders on this part of my body, and sometimes it bothers me and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm really just like, ugh, and I've tried all different kinds. So it's kind of hit or miss for me. So I never know, but the powders do not bother my face at all. I will say though, this does contain bismuth oxychloride. So if you are allergic to bismuth oxychloride, this is going to be a no-go. Okay. But it is triple jet milled. So if you're sensitive to it, but not allergic to it, you may not be sensitive to this because it is ground so finely. Okay. It's really super soft. So you have to make sure that you don't breathe this in. You want to make sure that you put it on outside, hold your breath. It is super, super fine. It's probably one of the finest powders that I have. So you have to be really careful with any powder, okay? But this one is super fine. So you can't see it is what I'm saying. When it goes off into the air, it disappears really quickly, so you can't see it. You don't want to mistakenly think it's not there. So always hold your breath, walk away, have 2 different mirrors in 2 different places, and always use it outside. Okay, I only put my mineral powders on outside. And this is the Mad Minerals. I've talked about this before. I am in love with this product. So I am currently in the light medium. This is actually, is this the light medium? Yeah, I think it is. I'm currently in the light medium. I don't have it on today. I did wear it yesterday though. And again, absolutely love it. This one is micronized. So it's like triple jet milled, micronized, incredibly soft and beautiful. This is pretty fine, but not as much as this, but it's still gorgeous. And I absolutely love it. And it has a crazy amount of sunscreen ingredients and it's under $20. And you get a good amount of product. It's in a 30-gram jar. So I don't know the grams of the actual product, but it's a 30-gram jar. So you're getting a decent amount of product for that price. Okay, so again, absolutely love it. So for those of you on a budget, this is phenomenal. For those of you that don't mind spending a chunk of change, this is lovely. If I had to choose, I'm probably going with this one simply because it has a higher amount of sunscreen ingredients. But I do love this. So again, but I don't have to choose. So I have both. So anyway, I just want to share, and I do protect my skin because I can't afford not to. All right, signing out.